Beneath Antarctica's ice, scientists have made a discovery so shocking it defies belief. An ancient rainforest buried under the frozen wasteland, proving this land was once warm and thriving. The icy continent has long held secrets, but this changes everything. If dense jungles once covered Antarctica, what else could be hidden beneath its miles of ice? Tune in as we uncover the truth buried in Antarctica's frozen depths. The ice that won't stay still. Antarctica's ice is not as solid as many would think. Take the Thwaites Glacier, also known as the Doomsday Glacier. This icy beast is melting at a terrifying speed, thanks to warm ocean water sneaking underneath. Since the 1980s, it has lost a massive amount of ice, and if it fully collapses, it could set off a chain reaction, dragging other ice sheets with it. If that happens, sea levels across the world would rise, flooding coastal cities. Scientists are racing against time to figure out how to slow it down, but the clock is ticking and nature does not wait. And beneath the ice, something even more sinister is awakening. If all Antarctic creatures were just penguins and seals, it would not be nearly as fascinating. There is the Antarctic scale worm, a nightmare wrapped in shiny gold armor. Living deep beneath the ocean, over 1,600 feet down, this 8-inch long worm looks like something from an alien planet. Scientists are fascinated by how it survives in such extreme conditions, proving that life can thrive in places never expected. Every discovery like this expands our understanding of what is possible, even beyond Earth. In the year 2021, Antarctica decided to break off a chunk of itself and send it floating into the ocean. This was not just any iceberg, it was a 76, a massive slab of ice stretching over 170 kilometers. When it broke free, it became the biggest iceberg on Earth, drifting through the ocean like a frozen continent on the move. These icebergs are not just impressive, they reveal how Antarctica's ice is shifting and melting, further proof that the planet's climate is changing fast. For years, rumors have swirled about a lost civilization buried under Antarctica. Some even link it to Plato's Atlantis, claiming the icy continent was not always frozen. According to the crust displacement theory, Antarctica was once a lush, warm land before shifting to its current location. Ancient maps, like the Piri Reis map, show surprising details about Antarctica's coastline long before it was officially discovered. Add in satellite images revealing unusual formations beneath the ice, and the theories get even wilder. Could an ancient civilization really be hiding under all that snow? Or is it just another frozen mystery? One of nature's toughest animals thrives in icy conditions. The wolverine does not just survive in brutal environments, it dominates. With powerful claws, a relentless attitude, and an ability to cover insane distances in search of food, wolverines are built for survival. Though mostly found in the Arctic, some have been spotted in the farthest reaches of Antarctica. Tough, resourceful, and nearly unstoppable, they prove that nature's most rugged creatures can make a home anywhere. Scientists discovered one of the deepest places on Earth hidden beneath Antarctica. Beneath the Denman Glacier, there is a trench that plunges more than 2 miles below sea level, making it the deepest point on any continent. What is down there? No one knows for sure. Researchers have found massive hidden cavities within the ice, but what lies beneath remains a mystery. Could it hold ancient fossils, unknown life forms, something even stranger? The deeper scientists explore, the more questions arise. More than 100 years ago, an explorer named Ernest Shackleton set out on a legendary Antarctic mission. His ship, the Endurance, got trapped in ice and sank, lost to the deep for over a century. Then, in the year 2022, scientists found it. Perfectly preserved beneath the freezing waters of the Weddell Sea, the ship looked eerily untouched, like it had just been abandoned. This discovery was more than just a historical find. It was a haunting reminder of the brutal conditions that early explorers faced. On Cape Evans, a wooden hut stands as a time capsule of Antarctic exploration. Built in just 9 days in 1910, it became home to Captain Robert Scott and his team as they prepared for their South Pole expedition. Inside, everything remains as it was: old clothes, food cans, and even notes left behind. But the most incredible find? Fossils of ancient plants that proved Antarctica was once covered in forests. Scott's expedition ended in tragedy, but his discoveries changed what was known about the continent's history. Imagine something straight out of a science fiction movie. A nearly transparent creature with 8 paddle-like legs moving through Antarctic waters. That is the monstrous planifrons, an eerie deep-sea organism discovered in subglacial lakes. This bizarre being thrives where nothing should survive, raising big questions about life in extreme conditions. Could similar creatures exist in the icy moons of Jupiter or Saturn? The possibilities just keep getting weirder. If Antarctica has always been a frozen wasteland, it would be surprising to learn about the discoveries scientists made near the Pine Island Glacier. They found something shocking: ancient roots, pollen, and plant material frozen in time. These remains suggest that 90 million years ago, Antarctica was covered in dense, tropical rainforests. Dinosaurs probably roamed here, surrounded by towering trees and lush greenery. This discovery flips the idea of Antarctica on its head, proving that climate can change in ways never imagined. The ice hides more than just cold. It holds stories waiting to be uncovered. What if some of them are true? Science or something else? William Morris, a man who was not just into ice, he was obsessed with it. A geomorphologist with a wild imagination, Morris spun up a story about daring explorers who ventured beyond the Antarctic ice walls into, well, something else. His book, The Navigator Who Crossed the Ice Walls, did not just describe endless snow, but hinted at hidden civilizations beyond the known map. Total fiction? Yes, but it does make one wonder what could be out there, buried under all that ice, unseen for who knows how long. People love a good mystery, and Antarctica is full of them. Speaking of strange occurrences, let's discuss that rectangle iceberg from the year 2018. Nature does not create straight lines, but there it was, a perfect, sharp-edged block of ice floating near the Larsen Ice Shelf, looking more like a science fiction movie prop than something nature formed on its own. People reacted with surprise, obviously. Was it an unnatural force at work? Scientists said it was a tabular iceberg shaped by environmental factors. But still, how often does an iceberg appear with geometry that clean? It was almost too perfect, like someone took a knife to the ice and carved out a chunk. Just another reminder that Antarctica likes to keep people guessing. And if a rectangular iceberg was not strange enough, let's talk about the organism discovered in Lake Vostok. Deep under the ice, Russian scientists reportedly found something truly bizarre. An organism they named 46b. This was not an average fish. It was a squid-like creature with 14 tentacles and some unusual abilities. Stories spread that it could shapeshift, paralyze prey from a distance, and was altogether the kind of thing no one would want to encounter in the dark. It sounds like science fiction nonsense, but the idea that something has been evolving in isolation, hidden from the world under miles of ice, is both terrifying and fascinating. And then there was the fossil discovery. An egg larger than a football, believed to be 66 million years old. A fossilized, soft-shelled egg, possibly laid by some ancient reptile that roamed Antarctica back when it was not a frozen wasteland. The land was once home to dinosaurs, after all. Finding an egg that size is a significant discovery, showing that the icy continent had creatures barely understood. If scientists are pulling fossils like that from the ice, what else is hiding beneath the frozen layers? There was also the alien-looking formation spotted in satellite images in the year 2012. A perfectly oval shape standing out against the ice. Too precise, too out of place. It set off a wave of speculation. Some people jumped straight to the idea that extraterrestrials created it, while scientists mostly shrugged and said they needed more data. Could it be a natural formation? Maybe, but nature rarely builds things that neat. On a less mysterious note, let's talk about a cake. Yes, a fruitcake. Over 100 years old, still intact, found in a hut once used by Captain Robert Falcon Scott's expedition. The cake had been frozen for over a century, but it looked surprisingly well preserved. Scott's team left it behind during their ill-fated journey, and now it is a relic of their struggle to survive the harshest environment on Earth. If there was ever proof that processed food lasts forever, this is it. But not everything in icy regions is bleak. Take Peanut, a polar bear who captured hearts and attention far from Antarctica. Rescued as a cub and raised with care, Peanut became a symbol of conservation efforts. She interacted with drones, showed curious behaviors, and reminded the world that human intervention is not always a bad thing when done responsibly. Her story was a rare, uplifting moment in a place where most stories end in frozen isolation. Back under the ice, things got stranger. The Antarctic blackfin icefish might be one of the most peculiar creatures found in those waters. This fish has no hemoglobin, meaning its blood is clear. That is right, see-through blood. It has adapted to survive in waters so cold they should be unlivable. How? Nature is just that unpredictable. Scientists studying these fish are constantly baffled by what evolution has created in the most extreme places on Earth. And just when it seems Antarctica is all ice and emptiness, researchers found entire ecosystems thriving where nothing should be able to live. Like the sponge gardens clinging to extinct underwater volcanoes. Bright, unusual, and full of life, these deep-sea sponges have somehow managed to survive in total darkness, where the water is nearly freezing. It is yet another reminder that life finds a way, even in the most impossible places. But sometimes the most interesting things are the smallest. Enter cryoconite holes, small dark patches in the ice that create their own little micro-worlds. Dust and soot gather in these pockets, absorb sunlight, and melt the ice around them. Inside, tiny organisms, algae, even invertebrates living in what should be an uninhabitable freezer. Scientists are fascinated by these because they could hint at how life survives on other frozen planets. If microbes can thrive in these ice holes, who is to say there are not similar life forms somewhere out there in the universe? Just when it seems we have seen it all, the ice reveals something even stranger. Lost civilizations at the edge of the world. Way up in the Arctic, there is this place called Lost Hammer Spring. It is not your everyday spring. It is a frozen, extreme environment where even the air feels alien. Scientists have found tiny life forms there that eat methane and carbon monoxide, the same kind of stuff floating around on Mars. That is a big deal because if microbes can survive here, maybe something similar is clinging to life somewhere out in space. It is like nature's way of saying life finds a way, even in the harshest places. And speaking of harsh places, there are some strange tunnels deep under Antarctica's ice that have left experts scratching their heads. Imagine walking over a sheet of ice miles thick, not realizing that beneath your feet, a hidden world of tunnels is waiting. These are not ordinary tunnels. Found near the Amundsen Scott Station, their origin is a total mystery. Some experts think they were carved by melting water, while others believe they formed due to the brutal conditions of the region. But no one really knows. Antarctica has always been a place full of surprises, and these tunnels only add to the mystery. What if they are hiding something even stranger? If tunnels were not shocking enough, there is also a secret river under all that ice. This is not just some tiny stream. It is over 280 miles long and collects water from an area bigger than Germany and France put together. Scientists only found it because of radar technology, and now they are wondering if this hidden river is messing with the way the ice sheet melts. Could it be speeding up the process? Could it change how Antarctica looks in the future? There are no clear answers yet, but one thing is certain: this frozen continent is way more alive than it seems. Now let us get into something even weirder. Back in 2014, researchers claimed they found 3 super old skulls in Antarctica. And these were not just any skulls. They looked nothing like regular human ones. This got people talking. Were these skulls proof of some lost civilization? Some think they were just the result of ancient people shaping their heads on purpose, but no one really knows. How did they end up in one of the most uninhabitable places on Earth? Did someone or something leave them there? Whatever the case, Antarctica keeps making people question what they think they know about history. From ancient mysteries to cosmic surprises, let us move on to a rock from Mars that somehow ended up in Antarctica. Back in 1984, scientists in the Allen Hills region found a meteorite named ALH84001. What made it special? It had these tiny structures that looked a lot like fossils. Some scientists said they could be remains of ancient Martian bacteria. Others were not convinced. The debate is still going on, but the fact that something from Mars landed on Earth and might hold clues to extraterrestrial life is pretty wild. If a rock can carry secrets across space, what else might be lurking in the ice? Fast forward to 1958, and there is Operation Sunshine. During the Cold War, the United States Navy pulled off something crazy. They sent a nuclear-powered submarine under the Arctic ice and made it all the way to the North Pole. This was not just about showing off military strength. It also opened up a whole new world under the ice, a place no one had ever explored. What else might be lurking in the dark? Frozen depths of our planet's poles? Now, if that was not strange enough, there is also the Antarctic pyramid. Satellite images showed a structure with 4 symmetrical sides, kind of like the pyramids in Egypt. People went wild, throwing out theories about lost civilizations, aliens, or something even stranger. But experts think it is probably just a natural mountain shaped by the elements over millions of years. Still, the resemblance is uncanny. Could nature really have sculpted something so perfect? Or is there more to the story? Antarctica is not just full of mysteries, it is also a goldmine for space rocks. Scientists found a massive 18-pound meteorite in 2023, one of the biggest ever recovered from the frozen continent. The thing about Antarctica is that its ice preserves meteorites better than anywhere else, making it a prime spot for finding pieces of the universe. With over 45,000 meteorites already documented, who knows what kind of mind-blowing discoveries are still waiting under the ice? And then there is Base 2011, one of the wildest conspiracy theories tied to Antarctica. According to rumors, the Nazis built a hidden base there during World War II, maybe even experimenting with advanced technology. While there is no solid proof this base ever existed, stories about strange, unidentified flying object sightings and weird geological formations keep fueling speculation. Could there be a forgotten chapter of history buried under the ice, or is it all just fantasy? The lack of evidence does not stop people from wondering what might still be hidden out there. Finally, there is the legend of Hyperborea. Ancient Greek mythology speaks of a paradise where people lived in eternal spring, free from suffering. Some believe Hyperborea could have been a real place, maybe even Antarctica before it froze over. It sounds far-fetched, but legends often have a grain of truth buried in them. Could there have been an ancient land lost to time, buried under miles of ice? The frozen landscape of Antarctica may hold more secrets than we will ever know. Could Antarctica be hiding evidence of an ancient, advanced civilization? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more intriguing mysteries.